one.
Can't control my anxiety. Feeling like I'm touching the ceiling. When I'm with you, I can't breathe. Boy, you do something to me. Ooh, I'll never get over you until I find something new to get me high like you do, yeah. Ooh, now I'll never get over you until I find something new to get me high like you do. Listen to my heartbeat, I do. A baby badu, and then my heart goes badu. A baby badu, it just won't stop, it goes badu. A baby badu, and then my heart goes badu. A baby badu, it just won't stop, it goes. How many ways can you say that I need you, baby? Ooh, I think I might die without you. Feelings all over my body. You know that I like it. Ain't got to tell you what to do. Yeah. Ooh, I'll never get over you until I find something new to get me high like you do. Yeah. Ooh, now I'll never get over you until I find something new. You get me high like you do. Listen to my heart go by you. A baby badu, and then my heart go badu. A baby badu, it just won't stop, go badu. A baby badu, and then my heart go badu. A baby badu, it just won't stop, go. Head over heels and love, right in front of you, ain't gotta look no more, baby. I wanna feel this love, and everything you want, you gotta act for, you got me put up, put up, put up, put up. Told you from the jump, I wanna choose you, you got me put up, put up, put up, put up. Pull me by the waist, baby, pull me closer.
All right, we're here. Welcome to the Lights of the Round Table. This is Darius A. Stanton, and am I and are we all pumped up and ready to go? We have a show for you today, and when I tell you I'm excited, look at my face. I'll tell you, I got the light on, and I'm going to share the light because the light doesn't belong to me. It belongs to all of us. I'm going to take it to the queen, if you know what I mean. Her name is Darlene. Queen, Darlene Brown. Peace and love, queen.
Grateful Grand Rising King. How is it going? I'm excited to be here and excited to get into our topic. I'm going to toss it over to our other king who makes up the Lights of the Round Table. What's going on, MJ?
Man, I'm just up here this morning chilling. I'm a little sore because I got doctor exercise in midday, late, early evening last night. So I am nice and sore, which is a great thing. So I'll take it. But I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to a great show.
Absolutely. What are we talking about today, D?
Whoa, let me tell you something. I want to get real up close and personal for y'all. So we are talking about today a topic that is so powerful. We are talking about the solution to Black entertainment. You know, this show is about solutions. We focus on the light. We focus on what's going up, not what's going down, right? And today we're going to get into what we see as solutions to music that currently, TV that currently, movies that currently, sitcoms that currently, reality shows that currently teach us to dislike ourselves, disrespect ourselves, hurt ourselves, kill ourselves, drug ourselves, all kinds of things to hurt us. And we got to, as my man said in bless us, the great and righteous ancestor, we got to reverse that thing. You know, John Witherspoon, we got to turn it all around. So today we have some talented guests. We have some artists. We have some producers who produce content in the video and audio world. We have people who are psychologists with us, our subject matter expert, Dr. Bruce Purnell. We have Kay Nels, the artist from ATL, who's in ATL, but from Annapolis, Maryland, hip hop artist extraordinaire. We have Miss Sharice Jones, whose music you just heard, Brewed Up remix by LMA. Yes, she got permission, and it was one of the hottest songs, yes, right, in the DMV last summer before last, as a matter of fact, now. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Miles Lewis is part of this team. So the lights of the round table, we're about to get into it. Share this show. It's going to be life-changing. It's going to be culture-changing. And we're excited to bring you the lights of the round table. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. And also we have Sharice Jones who's going to join us. And she's live. Boom, boom. Hey, Sharice, we cranked up that Brewed Up remix. Good morning to you, Queen.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Thanks so much for being with us. We got this star set of cast for folks, so we're gonna go around the room and let everybody, introduce themselves. Also, our subject matter expert, I talked about him in the beginning. Our good brother, Love More, bro. Love More Movement founder, CEO, Dr. Bruce Purnell. What's up, King?
Hey, man, everything's good, more love, more, bro. Feeling good, man. I really love the topic. It's so important, like right now, that we get into it and we understand like what is behind the frequency and vibration that we tuned into, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rapping with everybody about this.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Also in the house, we have our good brother, Mr. K. Nels. As I said, the brother's a hot rapper in ATL, but from the Annapolis, Maryland, DMV area. What's up, K. Nels? Peace and love, man. Welcome to the Lights of the Round Table.
For sure, man. What's good? What's good? I definitely appreciate the opportunity. Just being here, being able to build, being able to grow, being able to change narratives and create balance. So, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank y'all.
No doubt about it. And, just so people understand a little quick history, Brother K. Nels and I go back about almost till he was like 6 years old. He was a young brother at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Annapolis Gardens, my first Boys and Girls Clubs, right? And we've been yay tight ever since. He been in my corner, I've been in his. If we need each other, you can bet your bottom dollar we gonna gonna be there. Yeah, that's right.
For sure.
And now our other guest this morning, the producer. Hey, this brother, he came from behind the camera, behind the board, and he's with us this morning. We're so excited to have this creative talent. Brother's an audio and video producer, none other than Mr. Miles Lewis. Mr. Miles, peace and love, brother. Welcome to the Lights of the Round Table on the other side.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here on the other side. Producer, recording artist, and musician, Miles Lewis. I'm happy to be here, representing Indianapolis, Indiana as always, but also hailing from the DMV for the adulthoods. We're talking about my favorite thing, being Black in the entertainment world. Up early in Adam, and those that know me know there's always the right time to get me going for something to say. So let's get it.
All right. So we're going to get into it. Right off the top, as I said, for those of you who just joined us, make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe, to the Lights of the Round Table. If you like what we're saying, if it resonates with you, we hit something that makes sense to you, if it touches your soul, then hit the hashtag, the lights are on. Please hit the hashtag, the lights are on. We'll make sure you got a comment or question, put it in the chat. Some of our folks that are always with us, David Witherspoon, Jackie Mims, James A. Smith Jr., they all in there right now. And all the rest of the folks that are joining us, we appreciate your support. And as you can see, hashtag the lights are on. Don't forget Facebook, like us, share this show, because we are talking about the solutions to our community. Setting the stage. I'm going to go straight to it. One of the things that brought this conversation on was the BET Awards. Of course, Bill Cosby just got released from jail. It's not a question of whether or not he, participated in, having these women and dealing with them and the whole, drug escapade. But he said it wasn't against his will. It wasn't against their will, right? Brother went to jail on a technicality, not a technicality, but basically he's out now because they never should have locked him up in the first place because he had a deal. So the system worked for him, didn't work for him, now it's working for him. But the key is just the same brother that was trashing Black women, not trashing them, but he was like, Black women need to do this, Black men need to do that. And what's wrong with your criminal black children? So my question is to the panel as we get into it, what he brought to us, these kinds of shows, the Cosby Show, which showed a black family. They had some challenges, but they were successful. Mama was a lawyer, father was a doctor, children were in college. And then who can forget the college show that he put together, right? I mean, that to me, the messages that were in that show were some of the greatest messages on television, if you really paid attention and followed it. And then when you think about Teen Summit, let's go to BET. Teen Summit was a great show. Some of y'all might have even been on. Anybody on here was on Teen Summit? Okay, no. Somebody honest was, but all of you saw it, right?
I was muted. I said I was on there once. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I knew we had somebody tied to Teen Summit. So, Marcus, was Teen Summit a great show?
Yeah, all the public affairs shows on BET were great.
They were.
And when they had BET News, it was actually from our perspective, giving background and context to the things that we were going through and things that were relevant to us. So yeah, it was a good thing.
Right. So then BET took a shift, right? And but let's keep on going with the positive. I'm going to give you, in my opinion, the greatest movie of the century as it applies to, number one, it was a great movie, just all in all. But it was an example of who we are as a people. Because the crux of this conversation is the entertainment industry right now in the black community. Is it independent? Is it of true representation of our culture? Or is it wicked, whack? And when I say wicked, I'm not talking about wicked as in a Rastaman say a wicked man. I'm talking about wicked in terms of wicked, which is promoting killing, drugging, disrespecting our women, disrespecting ourselves. The ciphers that take place, they talking about using a nine, a gat, a double barrel in your mouth so I can shoot you. You can feel it down south. All kinds of, lyrics that are promoting the things that's killing us. But this movie was not, and that is none other. Let me take a poll. Anybody in Nicole D. Black? I see you in the chat. Nicole DJ Jammer. What movie am I talking about that really gave the perspective of who we truly are in the black community? Who is that? What movie was that? In your opinion, go around the horn. Start with you, Queen Darlene.
I would say Boys in the Hood, just off the top. Hey, Wendy, what's your thoughts?
Okay, Boys in the Hood. That's yours. Okay, put it in the chat. All right, what else? Who else? Crooklyn. Somebody said Crooklyn. Wendy said Crooklyn. What you? I'm gonna go to Sharice Reese. Queen, what you say? Reese, what you say?
I'm thinking just a Spike Lee movie. I don't even know.
A Spike Lee movie. Okay.
I don't know where you going with this. So I'm just gonna hit out and throw out Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Well, Nicole said do the right thing.
Okay. Spike Lee movie. We go with that. We go with Spike Lee's body of work, and then Darlene said do the right thing. Brother James A. Smith Jr. said bamboozle. Okay. Brother Dr. Bruce, what say you?
I'm gonna have to say Sankofa.
Wow. Okay, he was deep on us. Yeah, Sankofa. And why Sankofa, Dr. Bruce?
Because it kind of like it showed our whole history, what happened, and then that transformation.
Okay. All right, then we go. Let's see what we got next. Miles, what would you say? You in the industry. What movie do you think had the greatest impact in terms of constructive building us and really setting us, on that plane we need to be on in terms of representing our community?
I would go with two things, and I can mainly only speak for myself. I'd say Roots and Do the Right Thing. I think and Do the Right Thing together kind of cover two perspectives that are very necessary for a black person to have in America.
And Do the Right Thing. Okay. Somebody said the spook that sat by the door. We need to put that out there, period. Because that's
a must watch.
Right? My mother would say probably one of them is Putney Swope. Anybody know about Putney Swope? Yeah, Putney Swope was basically a brother who they had 10 people in a boardroom. He was the 10th person. All the other 9 people were white males. They thought it was a joke, right? So they all voted. They were voting for the president. So they were like joking, ha ha, we're gonna vote for Putney Swope. He ended up being the president.
Oh, that's a movie we gotta watch then.
Yeah. Okay, lean on me, somebody said. So the brother said roots on one side, and what was the other side you said? Miles?
Roots and do the right thing.
Roots to do the right thing. Okay, so do the right thing up on the. Okay, there you
I
go.
like to do the right thing.
We just gonna put Spike Lee out there. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
K. Nels.
Man, it's a lot of them. I mean, it depends on what area you're talking about. The first thing that came to mind for me, I'm 31, so I'm thinking do the right thing. I'm thinking in that vein, but I mean, it's been a lot of pretty accurate Black depictions that kind of, encapsulate different variations of who we are in society. So I'll say do the right thing, but I know it's a few of them out there.
And even I would say, you mentioned something that kind of captures not just the truth of who we are, but the truth of our pain and the areas we need to heal. When I think of some of the films that Tyler Perry has put out.
No question. I definitely agree with that in terms of, what Tyler Perry has put out there, because he has exposed some of the pain, as well as I love the fact that he also gives some solutions. His movies don't end all on the tragic note. They leave on the high. So I definitely agree with you on that note. So here's let's see what else we got out there. Somebody else said spook step out the door. Okay, that was we need to probably put that out. But the question is, so my what I'm putting out there is Black Panther.
Black Panther.
And the reason why I say Black Panther is because think about it. First and foremost, Black Panther, before we didn't have a text. There was no social media. I didn't see it. Message trending. There were no emails that said, when you go to see this movie, make sure you wear your African garb. And think about it. In America, we were trained to think that, Africa was basically, if you grew up in the era of Tarzan, poor. Everybody was running around with just huts, totally excluding the fact that we built the pyramids, totally excluding the fact that Mansa Musa is the most wealthiest man on the planet, in history still today. And he gave his riches away all around the world. He was the largest philanthropist ever. We forget. So when you think about medicine, think about Imhotep, think about, the fact that we created math and science and astrology and all of those things came through us. The first university.
Well, how about do you think about just how rich the continent is, right? All the minerals and natural resources that we get from there. I mean, let's just think about that from a humanistic creation perspective. Mother Earth, right? all knowing, all powerful, all being, right? And all of the nutrients that sustain life that come from there. How powerful is that? If we even want to make a bigger point, which is another show, but the very things that we use in technology, our smartphones, there is a primary resource needed to make that function that comes from the Congo. Okay?
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about that on another show. Go ahead, D.
So when you think about Black Panther, the reason why I say Black Panther, to your point, they had vibranium, which encaptured all of that. But think about the women they had in science. They had women in leadership. They had women that were out front. They weren't in the back. They weren't just, on the side. They weren't just out there for sexual pleasure. They were strong. They were bold. They could fight.
Warriors.
They were warriors, queens, right? And so you had all of that respect, but you had the brilliance and you had independence. So you had all of that tied into one, and we didn't need anybody. They needed us. They were coming to get our resources. So, but everybody, it was the spirit also, because people showed up in dashikis. They showed up with their hair wrapped. They showed up with all kinds of things that represent who we are as a culture. And I'm going to drop this nugget, and then we're going to go into the next piece, because now we see what really, in my opinion, those movies really projected. And my point is, if we saw all of those movies consistently, if BET stayed on the track of pushing conscious music and conscious hip hop and positive music, where would we be in our community versus if BET and TV1 and VH1, I mean, not TV1, VH1 and MTV didn't shift from playing conscious hip hop, KRS-One, all the people, EPMD, they were talking about real issues. They was talking about, the bodies and the trauma and the drugs, but they had a position where it was going this way versus the gangster rap that flooded BET. And next thing you know, you got little towns in North Carolina that's just no inner city whatsoever, and they shooting each other like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
We know, and I'm gonna toss this back over to you, but we know, as we talk about on the Lights of the Round Table, is about how media programs us, right? And anything that you are constantly feeding will grow. So that's the foundation of what we really want to drive home and would encourage our listening, viewing audience to really think about, right? What are you feeding in your day-to-day life, and how is that showing up? Are you feeding your mind positivity? Are you feeding your body the positive things that you need, such as sunlight and air and exercise? But those are the things that we really want you to think about, and how entertainment has influenced you, but also has influenced our communities and our culture. Back over to you, D.
Hey, what you just hit on was so powerful, because it is what we talk about here and what we're about on the Lights of the Round Table. You are what you digest. So, Miles can't wait to get in on the music tip, right? So we have this, first of all, let me just make it clear. On the Lights of the Round Table, we recognize that we all have contributions, and we do not have this generational creation of millennials versus Z versus baby boomers. No. As far as we're concerned, we working together, we building bridges. So we don't have the disconnect from that vantage point. Sylvia Johnson said Flavor Flav music. That's right. So you are what you digest. And if we are what we digest, Dr. Bruce, put into perspective for us, and then we're going to jump into, what music is influencing this. But put in perspective for us what is happening from a health perspective, a mental health perspective, a financial perspective, what you see in Southeast DC, in Maryland, in Prince George's, Anne Arundel County, city of Annapolis. Just think, this week in the city of Annapolis, a mother visiting her son who was checking into school as a plebe, which is a freshman midship, was sitting on the deck of the hotel where I actually had my wedding reception, and the sister got shot by 2 straight bullets and killed. So first of all, to her and all of the people who die of stray bullets or intentional bullets, we just take a moment and really give our heart and our soul to those folks and our family members.
Wow.
But this sister, but look at the young people, 4-year-old in DC, 10-year-old in DC, in Baltimore. They got places where Dr. Bruce and I had a show. We talked about it on another show, where they got places to hide, like inside the house, where they go hide underneath the bed or in a particular closet when the gunshots come out every single day.
And we're blaming the music. So what's your thoughts on that, Miles? Do you think music is
before we did, I want Dr. Bruce to give us that piece on what's happening. Where's the, how bad is it? Is it really, is it okay and we just making it up, or is it really bad in terms of what's happening with the outcomes in our community?
Man, I actually had an all-nighter last night, because they just had to pull the plug on a brother Anwar, that he took a couple of bullets, man, for no reason, man. He was ready to go to work, and just because of these beefs that are taking place in our neighborhoods. And actually, the last 3 nights we've been dealing with it, because he was shot and paralyzed, and in that same community that we were talking about before, Brother Darius, when your daughter came in and did that healing work, they just pulled the plug last night because they didn't know if he was suffering or not, and it was just lack of functioning. So the whole community is down, and and the talk is about shooting up the other neighborhood. And so, and this is coming through that same vibration. We have to understand that outside of everything else, where everybody says that, there's a vibration and frequency that we tuning into, and we have to then discern what values are being disseminated through this content. And if we just step out and listen to the words, listen to the language, listen to what's going on, and the responses have. And yes, it's that serious. Our children are actually responding by killing each other. Like, they're shooting at each other. They don't know why, even why they're beefing. And when you have the conversation afterwards, from the 50-year-olds to the 10-year-olds, and you ask, what's the conflict from? Nobody knows. So that's why we know it's programming, and it's by design. It's like a self-destruction program that we're playing a part in, and the script's been written. We're playing the parts, but we don't know that we're playing the parts. So yeah, it's just that serious, and we need to really understand that, the impact that the media has on our psyches.
So Miles, take us to the music. This is what do you see in terms of, you heard the argument. Hip hop started in one place, and all things evolve, right? So we recognize that there's an evolution. We recognize that people have to talk about, what pains them, what ails them. That's always been the case. The blues is nothing but, the blues. My baby left me, my baby daddy left me, and now I'm on my own. You had music back in the 60s that was Superfly, Freddie's Dead, Junkies Chase, Pusha Man, all of these, different elements. What's the difference today in terms of gangster rap? We got music called trap music. Trap music, right? What is the trap? And are we promoting the trap? Give it to us, Miles. What say you? Because you understand it from a different position.
What I would say about music, hip hop and its evolution is, I think us as a people need to do a little bit better in noticing the consistency in it. We've always had a melting pot of the pain, the pleasure, the problems, the profits, and the poems. I want to talk about something called consumer responsibility. Because as a person that makes media and tries to market media to people to give, that I feel is uplifting, or at least done with intentions, even if it is free of thought or any other societal bound. If we really want to say that music is so powerful that it can give a child the strength to no longer see right from wrong, pick up straps and do fun stuff. That's the impression that I'm getting. If we're gonna remain under that impression that that is true, we're gonna make that a reality. I, as a creator and one that was raised by creation, raised through hip hop, I get that. I believe that. But at the same time, consumer responsibility. What I mean by that, I can only tell you my own experience, how I came up. My parents brought music into my life and explained music as it came to me. So yeah, I saw your BET Uncut. I was influenced and programmed just like everybody else, but I was in a house that was also taking that content and presenting it to me. Here's LL. Here's Biggie. Here's Pac. Here's the story as best as I know it. Oh, here's Q-Tip. I didn't listen to him like that, but you can. Here's Tribe Called Quest. Oh, you want to rap? You sound a little bit like DJ Quick. Your voice sounds funny. Listen to him. Try this, right? But that was after I got to a certain age. Around maybe like 12, 13, and also as I became a little old enough to start sneaking and watching other stuff on my own, my parents understood that, and they brought that music into my life and done that. That is consumer responsibility. But what y'all want to do is, not y'all particularly, I'm not attacking nobody. What y'all want to do is pick up this phone and pay $5 and have it force fed to you. Just like we gonna get up and cook our own food, though we know it'd be better for us, but we'll go pick up some bullshit. Excuse my language. But like that's the tension I see with it. So if that's such a pressing issue as we say it is, I think we got to have a better talk about the type of fans we are and the type of consumers we are as Black consumers and Black fans. Where are we putting our money? What are we really support? What are we really supporting? Right? Because I hear you about what BET is doing. Yeah, they amplified a lot of stereotypes, but they also have a lot of great messaging too. But they didn't force feed you all that messaging because what do you buy? What do you buy?
Right. So what I hear, wait a minute.
Nothing that's just as useless.
This is good. What I hear him saying at the root of it is something that I believe as you mature into adulthood, as you mature, a key word, adulthood, right? Another key word. And you talk about responsibility, it's a choice, right? So as someone who grew up in New York, born and raised in the Bronx, love hip hop, grew up listening to hip hop, and I'm talking in the beginning, Africa Bambaataa, where majority of the hip hop was expressions of positivity. And rapping, as you know, it came about, as you will, from a lyrical ability to be able to tell a story very quickly to a beat. Okay. And everybody had a rap name. Mine was Baby D. But my point is, at some point, what you mentioned is your parental influence and how they were responsible as parents. But also, as you matured, you have to choose. Like, I love hip hop. And I do appreciate the opportunity from a financial perspective that it has afforded many of my talented African-American brothers and sisters. Make no mistake. But I do feel at some point we do have to choose how we show up and what we listen to and how often we listen to. Because not for nothing, I can't listen to WAP every day. I understand what it is. I'm very, as a woman, let's just keep it 100. What the lyrical content in what they're saying probably has a lot of truth to it if you want to get real in the bedroom. But I don't know that I want to hear that consistently on the radio. So it's a choice about what you choose to listen to. Back over to you, D. Oh, did I lose my co-host? Well, okay, go ahead, MJ.
So the argument right here is Miles is making is it's consumer responsibility. It's up to parents to teach their children, and you choose what to listen to. So I just want to throw out there the purpose of television, right? If you really want to break it down, is to make people buy things. So BET just had their award show. They added 30 minutes to their programming because so many marketers wanted to get to those Black consumers. So they added 30 more minutes. Now, BET is no longer owned by Black people, right? It was owned and founded by Bob Johnson and his wife. They made a few $1 billion and they sold it, right? It is now run by somebody else. One of the questions on it, and I'm gonna throw the question out there, but I'm gonna ask K Nels to talk to us as a hip hop artist himself, who grew up through part of that era and now is in the era of trap music, went through gangster rap, now it's changed to trap music. But when BET is owned by somebody else, who else owns music of other people's culture and they run their culture?
Jewish people.
Oh, okay. So do somebody own, the reality is, do we own any networks that influence, their children? And to Miles' point, that's why I wanted the show to be about us, right? What's our responsibility? Because we're getting paid to do it. We're getting paid to push, brands that are killing us. We're being paid to promote shooting and killing in our community. If all things were equal, Miles, I go with what you're saying, but all things aren't equal and the responsibility goes both ways. But the responsibility for us is, what are we going to promote? What are we going to produce that's going to make us live happy, healthy, safe, and free? K Nels, talk to us, brother. You're a hip hop artist out of, doing it in ATL. Some of the greatest rhymes I heard came out of your lips, brother. Talk to us about your view of this whole perspective with music and hip hop and rap and just entertainment, because next we're going to go to the reality shows. and then we got about 15 minutes. We got to wrap, but take it away, Kay.
Nah, I mean it's definitely a layered conversation, and it's very difficult to have in such a short period of time, because in many ways, music in general, and I'll speak specifically to black music, hip hop music, rap music, that's really the byproduct. It's only a reflection of the mentality. The music speaks a certain language because the circumstances that has been presented that created the ideas that these artists perpetuate is as prevalent as it is. So if you get into what creates the circumstance, then essentially the message and the narrative is changed in general. So yeah, music has been, because of what a lot of the content has been problematic. But what's more problematic is the mentality, the circumstances that create the mentality that create the music. So I feel like on one level, it's almost disingenuous to just talk about the music or the entertainment without talking about the circumstances that's creating it first. And I think that'll tie in not only to this conversation, but even what you talk about in reality TV and the stuff we're consuming as a people in general. So there is a pervasive school of thought that is damaging at the core of what the black community is supposed to be. So that is, in my opinion, that is what requires repair. So it's difficult for me to just talk about music and where it is at the surface without talking about everything as that we have dealt with as a society of people in our quest to live as free as we would like to be. Nothing about this country systematically is designed for the success of us as a people. So everything that we've achieved up until now and moving forward has been at the expense, or I should say, met with resistance on the highest level, and yet we still able to persevere. We're still able to take the lemons and make lemonade. So for me, that's why it's difficult to talk about it without going deeper in addressing the circumstances and in the mentality that's that we have to deal with on a community level, and a society level, economically, etc.
Wow.
Yeah, and the key point of everything that you just said, K now, is accountability, man. And it's the fact that you said we have to do these things. What people don't want to do is have to do any damn thing. We have been lulled into laziness with just the lifestyle in so many different ways. You see people, you see how they act, you see how they take care or don't take care of themselves. You see more DaVita clinics for kidney failure because of diabetes, which is a human created problem around. And you almost see as many DaVita dialysis places as you do McDonald's out in our community, at least, because we're not taking care of ourselves. So so we don't take care of ourselves to spend all our money trying to get somewhere, all our health trying to get money. And then we don't take care of ourselves and end up spending all of our money trying to get healthy. You know what I mean? And instead of one key thing here, you talked about it in the Black Panther film, is education. What I find in music and in art and in entertainment and in video, we don't understand our rights. We don't understand copyright. We don't understand how to exploit our rights. We don't understand distribution rights. We don't understand or have the power of owning the studio. Making sure that not just that you own Tyler Perry's studio, but you have your own recording studio where you can get your stuff done. Understanding business, understanding P&Ls, understanding balance sheets, understanding cash flow statements. And if it sounds like that's overwhelming and too much, that's just too damn bad, because every day I have to look at those things in my business to understand what's going up, look at revenues, look at cash flow to make sure I can run my business. You have to be a student of your business and a student of industry, period.
So
I think
you opened up
more avenues.
The brother said, we put a whole nother perspective on it. Just so you know, because we have roughly about 10 minutes left for the show.
Wow.
All right. But Just understand this. We are going to do a full series on this topic. So to your point, Brother K. Nels, you're absolutely right. It's so much to talk about. We dealt with music, but we got the reality shows, the accountability piece, what the root cause. We don't often go to the root cause. We deal with other things, but we don't go to the root cause. And we've been trained to deal with surface. So
we've been traumatized, and we don't want to deal with our trauma. We don't want to deal with our trauma on so many different levels. One, personally, then we don't want to deal with it societally and within our community. And then we want to be pacified. And we've been programmed that way. The past month, I've been talking about programming. And just like you program a computer, we as human beings have been domesticated. Look at the book, The Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, right. And I talk about them in my book. We have been domesticated, man. And if we don't take a chance to try to figure out the business structures, I mean, most of us in our community, if you're not put out there, and if you don't have a family that is teaching, or dad is teaching you about entrepreneurship, you don't know what a board of directors is. You don't know what executives are. You don't know what C-level suite people are. And by the way, everybody that I went to business school and law school and undergrad with, they knew that stuff, man. And we had to equip ourselves.
It's so much, and as you said, we are going to do this in a series because there's a lot of things to unpack here. And I definitely agree with you, K. Now, because I'm not a Band-Aid solution person. I want to get to the root so that we can remove the toxic issues from the root and then repair and rebuild. The challenge is that it is both on an individual level and then on a community level and a society level. And our society is made up of a system that are made up of people. So on an individual level, it is multi-layered because we already know that, even as we are responsible and we take responsibility for our decisions and we become accountable, we still operate within a system that has oppressed us. So that's a whole nother, conversation. But I do think that as I said, as you mature and move through life and become an adult, the whole goal of progression is to be better. And you cannot be better if you don't deal with the truth of your little t trauma and big T trauma. Heal it so that the light of who you are and we are amazing, resilient, creative. We said that at the start of the show. But if we are also wounded, we are also carrying that, and we see those wounds show up in our lyrical creation, which is in essence a reflection of the oppression society, right? And also the programming that says, well, if I came from poverty and I work really hard, or I make this song, or I shake it little this and I get that cheddar, then my life will be better. But it doesn't talk about the emotional, internal, and spiritual wounds and toxicity in your mind that you have not addressed that is really driving that. And see, that's what I want to get to. That's where I want to do the surgery, because I'm about, if you're going to let your light shine and be the truly greatest person that you were created to be, then you're going to have to heal. You're going to have to release that. You're going to have to go to what my co-host and co-executive producer MJ says, the deeper model. The deeper model, because how I show up has a lot to do with how I feel about me. And if I don't like me, you better know I ain't going to do anything that shows in my actions and words that I like or respect or value you. And that's at the core of what we're talking about, because I think even in positions like, TV1, and there is the other side where there's, light, but it's like, do you think that the negative, the dark side of our pain gets more spotlight than the good? That's the question we want to really talk about.
So yeah, you can. And let me say this, because we got 6 minutes, and our timeline is tight because we got everybody with a lot of stuff. So we're gonna come to you, and then we're gonna go around the horn and give everybody that 60-second wrap up. What you said, Darlene, was so powerful. Please share this show. Go to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and subscribe. We will have a full series of 4 shows unpacking this. right? It'll probably be in the month of September, but we are going to return to this. So make sure you follow the Lights to the Round Table. Go ahead, Queen.
So I think, thank you again for having me on the Lights at the Round Table. The lights are legitimately on. Okay, I think as a R&B singer in the D&B area that is moving from here, I think it's all about your mindset. And at the end of the day, um, these things don't just miraculously just show up, and you don't have this narrative that's painted for you. Somebody else comes to you and presents these ideas. Like, we're not talking about the smaller independent artists or the C-list artists. If you're talking about the larger name artists, there are major conversations that transpire about their look, what they're going to do, their partnerships, their business entities, and things of that nature. So I do feel like at the core of things, everything is pushed on us. It's a matter of how strong is our mind to decipher between what's something good for our soul and at the same time going to be a hindrance to our body. So I think that it's always interesting. But I mean, as Marcus was saying, this is all programming. Like,
that's it. Hey, we're gonna roll on to the next. Thank you so much, Sharice Jones. We started with Booed Up Remix. Make sure you check her out. Her music is hot. She's a star. She's an actress, and she just got a scholarship to win. You want to break the news to her, Sharice, real quick? You got 10 seconds.
oh my God. So I got a full ride to LA College of Music. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Hey,
Congratulations.
K Nails, we got 60 seconds, brother. Go ahead and rock it.
For me, I'll start by thanks and gratitude and appreciation always. These conversations are necessary, and like I say, I'm definitely down to be a part of the greater conversation, and more importantly, the greater action that's to follow the conversation. Man, it's separating the art itself. I'll say this. I'll leave with this thought. From as a creative, as a rapper, and as an artist, right? Black artists don't get the luxury of having their art separated from who they are. And I feel like most other artists, that's a luxury that they have that we don't get to share. And I'm willing to wear that. I'm willing to live with that. But when you look at the larger picture, if Martin Scorsese make a film about violent crime as he do, he's not held to the merit of a criminal. He's not held to the merit of a mobster or a serial killer. But if a rapper make a song about the circumstances that he experienced as a child or through his life, he's held to the merit of that history. And and the main reason why that's it, and I know I only got a limited time, but the main reason why that is because the value system in America doesn't value Black experience. It doesn't value Black people. It doesn't value Black perspective. And then we don't have anything fueling or feeding who we are and what we want to represent. To your point about BET being owned by the Redstone family. So
hey, brother, you
so much I wanted to
say. Hey,
say,
but you said it. You said it. You said it. We held at different standards, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Bruce.
Yeah. Quickly, I just want to put out there one that our strengths are weaponized in this system. Our music comes from the griot. Like, we have to go back to the foundation of our music coming through, and that's the stories are being told about legacy and our culture is coming from the griot. And then they also understood that we were able to communicate through music for our freedom through the Underground Railroad. The songs, when they understood the strengths, that's been taken and it's been repurposed, and now it's coming to be weaponized. So now the same thing that was our strengths is being used to enslave us, truthfully.
Got it. Brother Miles, thank you, Dr. Bruce.
All right. Well, I just want to say thanks for having me. It's great to be on here and share perspective and spread light. I will kind of end off, I think, going back to this consumer responsibility, and also remain a community that actually speaks to accountability in a day-to-day practice, and take consumer responsibility with you everywhere you go. That includes acknowledging that The Cosby Show and A Different World are a great show, but also I got sisters, I got a mother, and I'm trying to have children and daughters, and they have voices. And whether you feel differently about how some things went down, how you feel about silencing those voices and disrespecting those voices, and how you gonna hold him less accountable than you hold a Cardi B for playing the song? Just think about that on your way out. Peace and love.
Hey, thank you so much. MJ, you got 30 seconds, brother.
Hey man, I'm gonna leave it with Miles, man. That was a big enough boom, and really stop. Excuse my language, bullshitting and blaming other people. Get the help you need that you know you need every morning when you wake up and you don't feel right, and you know you need help. Call Dr. Bruce. Call another doctor, some helpline. Then look at the people around you. Make sure you have the right people around you. Again, the environment and the deeper part of things. Get rid of the bad people. Keep the good people. Promote them. And start dreaming, man. Start thinking about what you might want to do. And I know it's very hard when you've been told to go to school and get an education and go get a job. That ain't it, man. Because the people who own all this stuff, it's a different paradigm. You need to study them, heal yourself, study who's successful, and how you can do it in a very healthy way, in a happy way. It's not just about making dough, it's about enjoyment.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
on that note, thank you for our Queen Darlene Brown, King Marcus Johnson, Queen Sharice Jones, King Dr. Bruce Purnell, King Mr. Miles Lewis, and King K. Nels. I'm Darius A. Stanton, and I want to close on saying this. Make sure you go to www, the Lights of the Round Table, and be bold for good. Hey, this is the Lights of the Round Table. See you next Wednesday on our new time, Wednesday evening. Follow us on www, the Lights of the Round Table. This is Darius A. Stanton saying peace and love.
Peace.
Peace and love.
And love.